Okay, wait a freaking second. They're making an Invincible game. This is not a drill. This is not a joke. I am not messing with you, and it's not gonna be a mobile game. There is straight up right now a AAA Invincible game in the works. Now, there is a lot to break down in this video in terms of who's working on it. There's a lot to break down as well in terms of how it's going to be made. It's a bit weird, I gotta be honest. It isn't all sunshine and rainbows. There's some stuff I'm a bit concerned about, but we're gonna go over all of it here in this video. The point being though, obviously, if you love Invincible, if you love the comic, or if you love the show that's on Prime, I'm a big fan of both, then this is something to get excited for. The news broke earlier today when Skybound put out a crowdfunding link that allowed people to then donate to that'll be for the development of this game. And that immediately is very weird because they are saying in this crowdfunding campaign that this will be a AAA game and that for all intents and purposes, that's what they're aiming for. But also, how many AAA games ever have you heard about that were crowdfunded? It's very weird. It's something to be slightly concerned about, but let's get into the details. Let's get into the nitty gritty here. So they mentioned for their highlights of this upcoming game, one of them being you guys scrolling down and hitting the thumbs up button on this video, especially if you love Invincible. But it also says it's a AAA game studio with industry vets from EA, Activision Blizzard, and AMZ Games. There will be 30 plus employees developing their first in-house AAA game based on Invincible. They also mentioned some of the Invincible games that they've already worked on. There's actually one that was made in Fortnite called Guarding the Globe, and so on. But as you scroll through this crowdfunding campaign, there's a long paragraph here that says most crowdfunded video games are centered around indie games, and retail investors rarely have the opportunity to get in on the ground floor of AAA game publishers. Skybound is developing a highly produced, high-octane bloodbath that is anything but indie. Our bona fide global hit IP Invincible is at the center, and we've handpicked our own team consisting of more than 30 gaming industry veterans to make it happen. They say here that they've successfully raised $18 million from everyday investors and fans via Republic/Seeders, and we are inviting you to join us once again. What do you say? Guts, gore, and potential investor glory? Yeah, so again, just on the surface, when you're looking at this just entirely at face value, it is incredibly exciting that an Invincible game is in the works, and from the sounds of it, they do not want this to be some crowdfunded indie game. Not that there's anything wrong with that, of course. You know, that's a great way to get some indie games that a lot of people would be excited for and that we wouldn't get otherwise. But in this case, they're very ambitious, they're aiming quite high, and they're looking to give us something that is of a certain quality that you would expect from AAA games. How exactly you do that on a crowdfunded budget with only $18 million raised so far from investors, I'm not entirely sure, especially when you look at the landscape now and you think about how much AAA games cost these days. But okay, continuing with their crowdfunding campaign, they also mention here, by developing this game in-house under complete control of our team of franchise stakeholders and Invincible IP creator Robert Kirkman himself, we are creating a highly coveted game that is guaranteed to have fans of the comic, the global hit TV show, and serious gamers alike wholly captivated by a first-of-its-kind Invincible experience. Plus, by creating this project in-house, we will reap the benefits of being the IP rights owner, developer, and publisher, providing increased value to our stakeholders. Now, this is all kind of stuff to try and convince the people to want to help donate and become, I guess, technically stakeholders, investors of this crowdfunding campaign. But at the end of the day, what they're trying to say here is that they want to develop and publish this entirely in-house. They didn't want to take this game to like an Activision or an EA and have them publish it, and then at that point they can input their own voice into the game and have their own opinions and ideas. They wanted to develop and publish this entirely through Skybound so that it's 100% authentic to their own vision. And I mean, working with the guy who created Invincible, Robert Kirkman, having huge involvement in this, I imagine he's very protective of the franchise, and he would want to make sure that if we're getting a AAA gaming experience, it's something that's worthwhile. I mean, look at the show as a perfect example of that. You know, if they wanted to develop a show based on this comic, Robert Kirkman would have wanted to make sure that it was something that people were talking about. That's what happened with The Walking Dead. It's like one of the biggest shows ever, even though it kind of fell off big time for me at least. People still talk about it to this day, and Invincible, I don't think is going to be any different. People loved season 2, myself included, and I cannot wait. I am so excited to see what they're going to do next with season 3 and beyond. So while it's concerning that they're trying to do a crowdfunding campaign for a AAA game and that they only got like 30-something people working on it, I am still excited for the fact that it will be 100% their vision. Speaking of, again, the people that are working on this game, it says here in the crowdfunding campaign that you've never seen a game like this from Skybound before. We have a talented team of more than 30 experienced employees from the likes of Activision Blizzard, Electronic Arts, Epic Games, and more as the driving force behind our in-house studio. The studio will be headed by newly appointed head of games publishing, Chris Paulson, who's formerly of Activision Blizzard, and EVP of games production, Patrick Gilmore, formerly of Amazon Games. So yeah, only 30 people working on a AAA game is small, but they've certainly plucked some people that are industry vets from some very notable studios. I'm trying to look at this as glass half full as possible in the event that this ends up being something that is huge. The only thing that I am wondering too is, like, when it comes to the voice cast for the game, is it going to be the same people that voice the characters from the show? Because I'll be honest, maybe there are some characters in the show that I can see being interchanged with other voice actors, but I don't know if I can hear anybody but J.K. Simmons doing the voice of Omni-Man. I was very, very happy when they had him voice Omni-Man for the Mortal Kombat 1 Combat Pack, and it makes the character just that much cooler when you're playing as him. And I don't know if I want anybody else providing such a menacing and also such a layered performance like J.K. Simmons does with the character of Omni-Man. But okay, continuing again, it says here, if you follow the show, you can imagine exactly what to expect from this video game. Tons of action, stunning game and character design, and of course, a healthy dose of blood. They're laying out a lot of promises here, which naturally I guess you have to do when you're putting up a crowdfunding campaign, but I'm just worried about whether or not they're going to be able to deliver on these promises. We're gonna have to wait and see. I will definitely be covering this game right here on this channel. Again, I love Invincible. I'm a big fan of the comic, and I really, really love the show, so I definitely want to give you guys content for the upcoming game. So although I imagine this game is a long, long ways away, again, it's a AAA game with only 30 people working on it, don't expect to see any gameplay from this for a while. Still though, whenever we do get gameplay, whenever we do get a trailer, when we get more information, I will make sure to keep you guys up to date right here on this channel. Anything and everything regarding the Invincible game, you can expect to know about it right here. So make sure you subscribe, make sure you got those notifications on. And of course, if you yourself want to donate to this crowdfunding campaign, I'll make sure to leave a link in the description box below. Right now, from what I can see so far, they've raised over $440,000, and it looks like the crowdfunding campaign is going to be running right up until the end of this month. So I don't know how much they're expecting to be getting in, but let's see how many Invincible fans are going to rally together to try and make this as great of a game as possible. Fingers crossed we're going to get something great. Who knows even if this is going to be an open world game? Is this going to be a linear experience? I honestly have no idea what to expect, but at the very least, if we can just get something that is serviceable, if we can just get a pretty fun playing Invincible game that follows the story that we know and love, either from the comics or from the now TV show, and I think that'll be enough. It'll be enough for me to be happy. And then who knows where we go from there. If the first game is somewhat successful, if it gets good reviews, if enough people buy it, and then they franchise the hell out of it, then a second Invincible game could be even bigger, and it could be everything we ever could dream of. But with that being said, let me now kick it to you guys. Sound off with your thoughts in the comments section below. What do you think about this news? Are you excited about an Invincible game? Or are you going in a bit more cautiously optimistic, considering that it's planned to be a crowdfunded thing? Sound off with your thoughts in the comments. I've been Caboose. I'll see you guys later.